buffering. It's buffering. Hey, this is Boogie with the Bull, Boots on the Ground. I'm Dave Glover, and you're not. Welcome to a very special Boogie with the Bull, Boots on the Ground broadcast. Derek Arnold from Boots on the Ground is with us. Mike Gill, all I'm going to say is state of corruption. And if you haven't heard of state of corruption on the internet, look it up, and you'll see Mike's smiling face. We're live on the Dave Glover profile, the Boogie with the Bull Facebook page, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and we're supposed to be live on at Boogie WT Bull on Twitter. So the live chat is throughout the internet. Come join us, invite your friends. Mike, as we said, is just take a state of corruption. We'll let Derek make an opening statement, and then we'll gavel in testimony from Mr. Gill. Derek.
Well, hello, we the people. Thank you for joining us. And please hit that share button. Please hit your notifications for Dave Glover and Boogie with the Bull on Facebook. And we'll share these out. Please share these out. This message that Mr. Mike Gill is bringing to everybody now, okay, is an explosive testimony and some great intel and information that he wants to get to you. I'm going to let the viewers know Mike and I have never met in person, right, Mike? We can agree on that. You and I never met. This is a total grassroots, organic thing. And today was on the fly, and we decided to bring you out and bring you on the podcast. So this is Mr. Mike Gill out of New Hampshire, everybody. And please, I'm going to let Mike give you all the information where you can follow him. But please, the most important thing is open ears and sharing it out to everybody. Everybody you can. And you got to do it immediately so they don't take the video down. So let's get it out to as many people as we can. And anybody out there that has connection to any other podcasters, please, we need your platform. After you hear Mike's testimony, you're going to know the urgency why we need not just Mike, but this message that he's bringing to you, to everybody. And he's very courageous by doing this. And we hats off to Mike and prayers to him. And Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to let you just start right from the beginning. You can tell everybody a little bit of background of yourself, and then bring us up to what we're dealing with right now and where you are and what you're doing. And then we can do Q&A afterwards, and Dave can take questions and all that. So anybody watching, if you can hold your questions, write them down so Mike can flow, because I'm telling you, you do not want to interrupt what he's about ready to tell you. There's a lot of information. Get your notebook and get your pen out and get this out and share it out. So, Mike, thank you for coming on. We appreciate everything you're doing for this battle, for this war, and sacrificing everything that you have and that you are. And we thank you so much, and we're so honored to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Yes, and after I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. I mean, it's important to ask questions and understand. I want to first tell you that I'm a lifetime New Hampshire resident. I grew up in Salem, New Hampshire, lived in Windham and Derry, New Hampshire.
Me too.
Yeah, I lived on Big Island Pond.
I lived on Cobbett's Pond in Windham. And listen to this, Mike, and I'm sorry to interrupt you when we go back, because this amazes me. We didn't even know this. My family was in Salem, right, when my other generations, and then Derry, New Hampshire, we moved there, I don't know, in the 70s. And so, yeah, what a small world, man. That's my whole life. Now I'm a snowbird. So go ahead, finish where you're going. That's
okay.
Great.
So I was simply a local guy that started a business called Mortgage Specialist. Maybe people around New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts might have seen my signs. My signs were big electronic signs, like movie, TV quality signs. And I would advertise for mortgages and I became the highest volume mortgage company in the United States. A very wealthy man. In fact, I was also had the largest racing stable in the world. I became the world champion in 2005, beating the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Now, I became a wealthy man based on insight. I am so bad at so many things. I've never put oil in a car. I could figure it out, but I never have. But what insight was is the ability to move in business and directions. And when dealing with interest rates in the economy, I became an expert at what I did. Now, I was a father of 5, football coach, basketball coach. I left work and my 5 children were at the door waiting for me each and every day. That was my life, and I loved every minute of it. But the same insight had to have involvement with the banking department. Now, the banking department, they ran a Ponzi scheme. Now, this Ponzi scheme was called FRM, Financial Resource Management. And 402 elderly people were victims of this Ponzi scheme, and they came to see me. And I looked at it and figured out it was a Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme was owned and controlled by my attorney, Bill Shaheen. And the other attorney I had was Alex Walker. Now, Walker was the president of Divine Millimat, and Bill Shaheen was the owner of Shaheen and Gordon. And I explained to them that this was a money law, and these people, a Ponzi scheme, these people were losing their homes. They had 7 and 8 mortgages on these homes, and they were losing them in 2007 and 8 property recession. They were scammed. And when I confronted Shaheen and Walker, only to find out it was them. And the thing with the banking department, I outed Hildridge. In fact, we got to remember now, the banking department held my license. So I knew it was dangerous, but I couldn't see. And there's videos on notice. You see me confront the banking department. You see me confront the House of Representatives and saying that these people were being robbed. What I didn't know was there was a door behind this, just like there's a door behind election fraud. Do you have election fraud? Listen, they destroyed my voter registration. I know. My campaign manager worked for Shaheen. I know there's election fraud. Just like I knew that the banking department covered up this Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
But the door behind it is money laundering. There will be no more important 2 words in each and every one of our lifetimes than money laundering. Not corruption, not murder, not extortion, money laundering. The way this evil empire works is they steal, they sell protection. The commonality amongst these criminals is they have to clean their money. The banking department's responsibility is auditing. The IRS is auditing. Department of Revenue is auditing. The commissioner of the banking department's job is to audit. It's checks and balances, right? So what happens if they control everything that audits? Then what's behind that banking department door? The largest money laundering network in the world. Now, when I told people that that's what I found, I said it was the deep state laundering network. Actually, what I said at the time, I called it a network of corruption, money laundering. I don't even know if they were using the term deep state. So I turned around and went after this organization. Find it money laundering. Now, again, people who follow state of corruption, you can go to YouTube. I have over 500 videos. I documented the journey because I knew you wouldn't believe the journey while it was happening. So what I did was I documented, I videotaped it, I shared the evidence with you. I'm not someone giving you an opinion. I'm not someone giving you a hypothesis. What I'm showing you and I've documented is evidence and facts, absolute proof and evidence, one that should, in a normal world, put these criminals in jail. So I documented that journey, even with that evidence, to the FBI, to the DEA, to the Department of Justice. You see me take that journey and you see me find and realize that they're all involved. I wasn't what would you call a conspiracist theorist? I wasn't even political, really. I had my opinions and they really ran down the middle most of the time. So I was as naive as most of you, and maybe less of you now. So when I found that the banking department was this door for money laundering, they came to me, this network of lawyers and accountants, and the banking department and Department of Revenue and the commissioner, and they offered me $50 million to not tell the people. Now, on video, the video is called The List. You see the agreement. You see the names. The names is Bill Shaheen and Banking Department, Department of Revenue. Think about this. Every one of them that took everything from me wanted to pay me $50 million. The first thing they tried to do when I refused was try to murder me. 2 of the murder attempts got caught on video, security video. I posted them on the internet. Millions of people saw them. So they had to have plan B. Destroy the man, you destroy his message. And it also sent a message to anybody else that wants to put their foot in that door, that will come for you. You see what we did to this guy. Now, I didn't go easy, let me tell you. It was a war for years. But that door, it was the money laundering network. It turned out, ready, to be the Pandora Papers. For all of you who don't know what the Pandora Papers are, you've got to Google, and Google Pandora Papers, New Hampshire. The money laundering capital in the world is United States. The 2 states that have the most money laundering is South Dakota, small, less populated than even New Hampshire with 300 billion. And the state of New Hampshire with $932 billion. The defense budget in this country is $700 billion. The help to Ukraine is $19 million. That's less than 2% of what's hiding in the state of New Hampshire.
And Mike, let me stop you real quick while you're right there, because it's a perfect stopping point. Because that $930 billion of laundered money, you're saying every state, all other 49 states, is laundering to the one state, New Hampshire, being the main hub of laundering. Am I getting this right?
I'm talking of the world. We are the laundering network with drug cartels and human traffickers around the world.
And that's New Hampshire?
New Hampshire. That's why these elections are fixed. That's management. Sununu is the gatekeeper. Shaheen is the architect. New Hampshire has a responsibility for this country. That's 932 billion and counting. That's why
so their responsibilities for the U.S. Inc. fraudulent system, broken system, versus 930 billion being for the U.S. people, the Republic, right? Am I getting this right? Okay,
$932 billion are hidden in the state of New Hampshire. Now, who hides the money? Corrupt politicians in this country. drug cartels, human traffickers. That's what's behind the banking department. The banking department commissioner is Jerry Little. I did a video called Little Trust. I did another video, again, on YouTube, doing the laundry. I called out Sununu before he became governor at the executive council meeting, saying that you're laundering money. You see Sununu's face. He was afraid to say a word. None of these people wanted to debate me. None of them did.
That, Mike, I watched that video. That was, man, whenever I seen that video, I'm like, oh my God, you can't make this stuff up.
Right.
This guy is in here laying it out in front of all these people, and he's got no fear. I'm like, I got to get to know this guy. So I started watching your videos, and here we are, first time ever really meeting, but we've never met in person. And oh my God, you're blowing my mind, Mike. I've been in this. Oh, good Lord. So why do you think those videos are so important? They're pertinent today. I was ahead then. That video doing the laundry with Sununu, that was the point of exchanging the keys to the vault. That was Sununu's move. Now think about it. Shaheen's boy was to my left. That was Van Ostrin. He was running for governor. Sununu was running for governor, and I was an independent running for governor. The guy to the right of Sununu is Pappas. You see me call him out, who's now a congressman. I said, you're a member of the cartel. And he is. He is connected to Dick Aganos. Dark money wins elections. Look what happened with FTX. What was he doing? Investing in politicians and protection. Aganos, the head of the drug cartel, invested in politicians and protection. Who do you think they're laundering the money for? The cartel and Dick Aganos. See? So I caught the move in doing to the laundry. He leveraged the corrupt and Sununu with their own money. That's how Shaheen with his own money. That's how Sununu became governor. And in turn, right after that, they destroyed my voter registration, lied, and there's another video with me confronting Secretary of State Gardner and saying that you knew that they corrupted this. I caught him. It took him 20 minutes to come up with his name. These people aren't hard to uncover. No. They're not hard to confront. In fact, most of these people who are buffers aren't the brightest. You put me in a room with them, I'll peel them. And I did. And you've seen that. Now, Mike, while we're on the voting real quick, I'm going to tell you a testimony I just got right before I come on here. Right here in the reel. My friend Lori's husband, my friend Marty, here in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was on the voting precinct watching over. He had the hat and everything, right? He was there 2016, 2018. Okay. They told them they didn't need him any longer right before the 2020. You know why? Why? Because he's Republican and he voted for Trump. That's why.
They don't like loose ends.
No. So I tell him that tonight, right? He's like, wow, I can't believe they do that stuff. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, they do stuff even way deeper. So go ahead. I just wanted to give people real hands-on testimony while we're on the fraudulent selection conversation.
Right. But understand, the election's about management. From the senators to the congressmen and the governor of New Hampshire, all are corrupt. All are in this network. And again, remember money laundering. That was the confrontation with Sununu. That was the evidence with the banking department. The same money laundering network took my banking license. The Department of Revenue auctioned off my properties and my business to who? Dick Aganos of the cartel. So same people, the IRS leveraged me. They are on the settlement agreement. Remember, everything that audits is what would protect. They're going to audit you for $600, and they've got $932 billion in New Hampshire.
$932 billion. That's crazy.
Think of the obscenity. Now listen. This is important, and this is what took me years of putting evidence in place. And why I'm in Washington and what makes me so dangerous. I'm playing chess with these bastards and I have them in check. And that's why it's been getting even extra dangerous lately. What happened was part of the laundering is the money that they steal and the money they get for payoffs and the sales of drugs. And let's not forget, you're number one in money laundering in the world. You're also ground zero for opioids. Remember? I did a video doing Gil delivers evidence to the DEA again. On video, John Delane, a DEA agent. I gave him my name 4 times. He called the cops. But on video, I dropped the evidence in his hands. That evidence got an 80,000-pound capacity tractor trailer and filled it with fentanyl. The biggest seizure in history up until that point of fentanyl was 240 pounds. You ready? That tractor trailer was in the tons. It was the largest fentanyl seizure in history, the largest money laundering network in history, the Pandora Papers in New Hampshire. This is in New Hampshire. So think about this, the people of New Hampshire. You're ground zero for opioids and money laundering, the 2 worst evils in this country.
And Mike, because with following your videos, because I just want to keep the viewers like they're going to be blown away. I can only imagine what they're saying and the expressions on the other end of this. So, but we know, and I got a report, and along with watching your videos and other stuff to vet and validate with this tractor trailer load of fentanyl. If I remember right, Catholic Medical Center in Manchester, New Hampshire was involved, a big part of that. And I want to put another thing to this, just so how close to home this opioid the pandemic is. It's really it's a crisis, all right? Because my oldest son, okay, my oldest biological son, he died from fentanyl, and they brought him back to life, thank God. Okay, well, my stepson at 19 in 2009. I had to watch him get pulled out of a hotel room in a body bag a month after getting his diploma from Timberlane High School. And I don't know if it was fentanyl, whatever they did that night, something was in it and killed him, because he's no longer here. He's gone. Thank God my biological son, my junior, is still here, able to be a dad to his kids, my grandbabies. So this is the urgency I have in this fight, is saving generations in all nations, right? So can you clarify with the viewers?
Yes.
Catholic Medical Center is a hospital out of Manchester, New Hampshire, Queen City of Manchester. Can you go over that a little bit with the viewers so they have the understanding of what this tractor trailer?
I will. So, well, let's understand this. So they have the money laundering network and the protection from these politicians. So it's a service of laundering and protection that attracts this evil. This evil, and this part of this protection is that these entities come from law firms, McLean, Divine Millimat, Wiggins and Norrie, Shaheen and Gordon. What they do, it's a plan. And the plan was to take their lawyers and infiltrate your court and make them judges, to go to the AG's office to protect any investigation, any prosecution. Why do you think so many of these politicians are lawyers too? It was these law firms that then sold the protection to human traffickers and drug cartels. That's why they made New Hampshire their home. It was protection. It was a one-stop shopping. We'll launder your money for you. We'll sell you protection, and you make us partners. Now, what could fill an 80,000-pound capacity tractor trailer? The cartel owns or controls the hospitals, treatment centers, pharmacies, hospice cares throughout the state. Catholic Medical Center is the CEO of Alex Walker. If you go to the list and the names of people on that $50 million settlement, you will see Alex Walker. You will see, and Kakavas, the ex-U.S. attorney, controls Dartmouth. Now, and Aganos, Dick Aganos, the head of the cartel, he owns the Elliott Hospital pharmacies. Why does one man who's been arrested multiple times for trafficking drugs own your state treatment centers? The same cartels selling your children drugs are owning treatment centers. So yes, those hospitals are involved. And the drug now is fentanyl. And why you're going to have 100 times more deaths now than before is because fentanyl kills. I posted evidence of inside. I worked with Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. You people to hear about him, and such a hero. When O'Keefe came to my house, and he came to me with Aaron Day, they gave me the cartel. O'Keefe was investigating Griner, Bill Griner from Bedford. Bedford, New Hampshire is ground zero. That's where the cartel and the cartel members live. And what they did was they gave me the cartel. I came up with the arresting state troopers, the prosecutors, the witnesses. We had undercover people inside the cartel, inside Auto Fair, inside Granite State Recovery. Remember when Pence was coming to New Hampshire and they turned his plane around? That was my evidence that turned his plane around. He was visiting Granite State Recovery, giving a picture on the wall for the cartel to sell you on who they were. Well, how about this? Auto Fair closed. Granite State Recovery closed. The same banking commissioner that I outed in that meeting doing the laundry, Perlow became the head of the management company called Prospective Trust. Hundreds of billions of dollars he managed for the cartel. They were on the Pandora Papers. So the same money laundering network that I gave you, the same entities that I called out were named in the Pandora Papers. The same money laundering network that's being investigated in Congress as we speak. All of what I said turned out to be true, which is why it became even more dangerous, because I am that witness. So think about this. Is there something more obscene than your children seeking treatment to the same cartel selling them fentanyl? And they're choosing fentanyl because it's cheaper. Your borders are open because the fentanyl is partnership with the Mexicans. Listen, I have evidence that they're manufacturing fentanyl in this country. Aganos has a manufacturing plant in Boston. They're bringing people over because that's your street distribution. They're moving fentanyl through. Why do you think your cities are crumbling? Why do you think crime rates exploding across this country? I just saw a picture of Manchester, New Hampshire, where there's tents along the streets. And it was some preschool saying they couldn't send their kids out because of needles. As Dick Aganos every week is buying a casino. The state of New Hampshire is powering casinos all around and treatment centers. Look at Andy Cruz from Auto Fair, right? He's the front man for Aganos. They sell it. What does Cruz become? The president of the lottery. Money laundering. What else is he? He's running treatment companies.
Let me bounce off that, Mike. Let me bounce off a couple of things. The treatment centers, because I told you about my son, they brought him back to life, right? But he's been in trouble because of the drug, because of the poison, right? Because of the poison. Well, then he went into the treatments in New Hampshire. I mean, they only set you up to fail. That's all they're doing. And I believe
it's Medicaid fraud.
Yeah,
it's Medicaid fraud
going on in there. So that's hands-on testimony. And in Manchester, let me tell you this, you speak about these tents. Let me tell you about Manchester, because I go out and stand out with flags at fake news, WMUR-ABC fake news, right? We're out there every week and sometimes 3 times a week up there. But because we know they're our worst enemy, right? The fake news. So here's the thing. We go do a march up on Elm Street. You know Elm Street in Manchester, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we have all disabled homeless vets left on the streets. They won't put them in a home because they're disabled and too much of a liability, but they weren't enough liability to send them overseas, getting killed or killing, whatever. And so to bounce off the tents, just let everybody know it's a real deal stuff going on here. This is no joke. The homeless are on these streets, and some of them are drug addicts, and they're just sent out with the wolves to fail again. And we got to get rid of that, right? We got to do something about that. But in these treatment centers that are supposed to be helping these people, they're setting them up for failure right off the bat. My son
is stealing from them. It's Medicaid fraud. That's part of the theft. Think about this. The ones on the street are the ones that don't have insurance, who doesn't qualify for Medicaid. And then you know what they do? They wind up on the street, and then they wind up in jail. They wind up in jail, and I had undercovers there too. They're still selling them drugs. And if you can't pay, they threaten your family. They threaten with you beating it. I've had those undercovers. And when you're talking Elm Street, I did a video on Elm Street with the homeless. I met a 16-year-old girl, and I remember thinking, and I asked her this question on video: why is it that everybody's so young? You know what she said to me? She goes, "Mister, we don't get old." And that touched me.
Yeah, that makes, whoa, that's powerful right there, Mike.
Right. And there's a video of that. There's one girl that had to sleep in the park, and she'd be raped nightly. And think of the obscenity here. You've got Aganos buying properties, casinos, and Sununu's helping them, opening them.
So let me ask you this. The old dog track in Seabrook just got turned into a casino not too long ago. Do you know the names on that ordeal over there?
I don't. I just Googled even the other day, and he's opening 3 new ones, one in Keene, one in Manchester, one in Lebanon. That's money laundering. You see, Here's the thing with money laundering and the Pandora Papers. You ready? What they do is they take their money, and that same Perlow who protected the banking department during the Ponzi scheme, and if you've seen that doing the laundry video, I confronted the executive committee and said to them, how is it that an insurance defender is the banking commissioner now? He was their guy to protect and block. They moved him to a management company. That management company sends it offshore and comes back. Hundreds of foreign journalists track cartel money, trafficking money to the state of New Hampshire. What they were finding was it was the money they were sending back. The cleaning means you take it, you send it offshore, you bring it back, and you put it into, car dealerships like Auto Fair. Who's the number one landlord in the state? Oh, Dick Aganos. Commercial real estate, Dick Aganos. How does a convicted drug trafficker become the wealthiest man in the state? How does he own treatment centers and hospitals?
Right.
I mean, this is so obscene and so obvious. It's nerve-wracking to me. It's so obvious.
Sure.
How about this? You talk MUR? MUR had front store stories of him. I had state troopers. I had case numbers they tried to block. And those stories were coming from MUR and the Manchester Union leader. The Manchester Union leader made Dick Aganos the man of the year. The man of the year. See, this is how obscene this is. And this is why I went and told people about how the media was lying at a point where you were trusting the media.
Right.
And then you see me on video go to the FBI 12 times. Who do you know outside the door, ringing their doorbell, having their speaker on, calling them cowards and guilty of treason? Now, what I'm telling you, you can see for yourself. I stand in front of those doors with that evidence of money laundering, the cartel, corrupt politicians, election fraud, the fraud on the courts. I had that. They wouldn't open the door because they knew it would incriminate them.
Of course.
The
course,
FBI,
and
the
I'll tell you,
FBI
Mike,
the FBI put plants in my company. You see that $50 million settlement offer? Lisa Tracy was my controller. Brian Toomey was my VP. They used my own people to turn them. They fixed that election when James O'Keefe was working with me and with that undercover with Day. What we were being equally sued, me and Day, with the cartel, with their own judges, Judge Delker, Judge Tucker. You know where these judges come from? The AG's office. Remember I told you how they corrupted the AG's office? There you go. You get them.
well, how
So-
about Dick Tracy up there? What do you know about that clown? Because he's a sellout too.
Dick Tracy, I've been calling him out for over 10 years. Dick Tracy and Dick Head. They both work for the AG's office. They are their hitman. Tracy came as a cop from the Manchester. He was protecting the cartel then. He's the one that goes after you. Why do you think O'Keefe went to me? O'Keefe was confronted with Tracy and Richard Head. Google this. And then Google this, everybody, if you don't believe me about O'Keefe.
Mike, I heard that there was a dickhead. There was a Dick Tracy and a dickhead in New Hampshire. And people, that's his real name, Richard Head.
Right. Well, Richard Head's the one who sued me with the DRA that auctioned off my property to the cartel. That's who they are. Dick Tracy confronts you. When James O'Keefe, and now listen, everybody, Google this. James O'Keefe Griner, as in Bill Griner, who's the money man for the cartel, and Aaron Day. That was in 14. That was 2 years before I mentioned the cartel. And James O'Keefe was on the cartel because the cartel were buying politicians. O'Keefe came to me in 16 with Day because they was out front with this corruption. I found out how they money laundered. He brought me the cartel. We were the people we were meeting. I met with the owner, the front man of a tractor trailer company out of Manchester. This company made daily routes from Manchester, New Hampshire to Laredo, Texas.
Wow.
Now, O'Keefe and Day were on those calls in those meetings. They were bringing down machine guns from New Hampshire. And for all of you who don't know, remember now, ground zero opioids, ground zero money laundering. The United States makes the most guns out of any country in the world. The state that manufactures more guns than any other state in this country is the state of New Hampshire. And you know who gets them the contracts? Senator Gene Shaheen, the same senator who wants to take your guns, are supplying the guns to the Mexican cartel.
Wow.
Because that tractor trailer is going to Laredo, Texas with machine guns. You know what's coming back? Fentanyl. And children.
Children. Hold on, Mike. Let's back up a little bit. Let's recap on these huge bombs you're dropping right here. Let's go back a little bit. You're telling me that Shaheen is pretty much the manager of running tractor trailers or having tractor trailers.
Aganos is Anagos, the head of the cartel.
Okay.
That's what's in these Pandora Papers. They're dummy corporations, LLCs and trusts, and they own these businesses and they put frontmen in. Cruz was the front man for Auto Fair. This guy here, I don't want to mention his name, he'll come up dead, was the front man for this trucking company. So Anagos, who's protected by Shaheen and Sununu, owns this trucking company. This front man came to us with O'Keefe, with Aaron Day in meetings, and another undercover working with O'Keefe. He came up and said, listen, this is my deliveries, machine guns to Laredo, Texas. I'm bringing back fentanyl and children, human trafficking. Now, people, I want you to pay attention to this. Ready? The cartels are the human traffickers. They're one in the same. They travel in the same shipments. It's not two separate entities. It's the same. So that's what was coming back. Daily routes, and we had them all.
So
and what happened was,
so Mike, does this tie in, because Hillary Clinton's code name's Evergreen, and there's Evergreen shipping containers, and I know in Northern Virginia there's a huge stockpile and yard for shipping containers, and it's all Evergreen. Did you tie any of those? Did you connect any of those dots with this trafficking stuff?
This is what I'll tell you. Everything I tell you is fact, is evidence, witness. So I won't speculate, because again, what makes me different is that I'm telling you I can verify it, and I've documented it. Now,
good.
Off the side, do I think the Clintons are laundering money with the Shaheens and this Pandora Papers? You're damn straight. Well, how about this? Who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager? The same Bill Shaheen. Who was a candidate for VP with Biden? It was the Senator Gene Shaheen. Now think about it. If you're Clinton and Biden, and if you're stealing and robbing and cheating, you need to hide your money just like all the other thieves.
Right.
Is there a better laundering network in the world than the people you trust the most running it? Could you be part of 932 billion? You bet your ass. You know why they're afraid of Biden's laptop? It's not just about the connection with China and taking payoffs. It's the next question. Remember I said putting my foot in the door in the banking department, and what was behind that was money laundering? It's the next question. Well, the next question is, ready on that laptop? Where did you launder the money? Wherever they laundered that money takes you back to where they all launder their money. You see what I'm saying? Why do you think the FBI...
You just broke that. Holy cow, Mike. Mr. Gill, you just broke some stuff for the viewers here, because I haven't heard anybody. We always know, follow the dough. You find out what goes on below.
Follow the money. And keep turning the page.
Connect the roots, then you know who's in cahoots.
I was a money man. I owned a mortgage company. I became the #1 in the United States by turning the page. And that's why with Biden's laptop, you've got to ask that next question. That next question takes you right back to the laundry again. Now think about this. Who protected the money laundering network? Who protected Shaheen and Sununu? You've seen me go to the FBI a dozen times. You see them refuse the evidence. You see them hiding behind those doors. Well, think about this. Who went into Twitter? Jim Baker, the general counsel of the FBI, to block any investigation and releasing information on Biden's laptop. So we've got the FBI blocking the same information. Remember those two most important words? Money laundering. Well, there's the FBI again. And that's what happened with Twitter. That's why they don't want you to ask the next question. And you know what? You're dealing with Congress, with the Pandora Papers. You're dealing now. I just seen Jim Jordan turn around and saying about Biden's laptop and bringing up Baker. But he also says he's not the cops. He can't arrest them. Where do you go? Oh, you got to take it to the Department of Justice. The same people who were corrupt. The Department of Justice and the FBI sleeps in the same bed. You see, this is the cycle of evil. This is the cycle of corruption. They built a network. They put it together like a plan of war. They turned around and corrupted everything that protects you. Everything where you seek justice, it's them. The FBI is the deep state. The DEA, you ready with that fentanyl in a tractor trailer? Now think about this. You ready? You want to have your mind blown? New Hampshire's drug epidemic blew up in 11. Do you know when the DEA came to New Hampshire? 11. And Bedford, New Hampshire. Do you know where the home base of the cartel is? The same town of 23,000 people. Whoa, we just landed in the cartel nest. Not to convict them, to protect them and partner.
Right.
It gets worse. It gets worse. You ready? The Bedford Police Department, the chief, guy named Bryansky. Well, who the hell's Bryansky? Well, Bryansky was the head of the DEA and 300 agents in the Mid-Atlantic. What the hell is he doing in a town of 23,000 people as the police chief? What's he doing? He's protecting the cartel. They own the police department. They come from the DEA. The DEA moves in, it explodes. Why? They're protecting the cartel. Who did I bring the evidence to on camera? The DEA. What did it get? A tractor trailer full of fentanyl. What happened after that? The head of the DEA goes to New Hampshire. It's on video, it's on news, and calls New Hampshire ground zero. My evidence, not them. It was on video. Where did they come from? The hospital treatment centers. Who went to jail? You hear a doctor get arrested? They made the news. And you know what? They made the announcement of the big arrest at a preschool. And everybody bought that silly ass bullshit. Where did it go? How did billions and billions of dollars of fentanyl wind up in your backyard? Are you ready? Who was Aganos' partner? Sinaloa cartel. Who did he do business with? El Chapo. Wow, hard to believe, right? How about this? Google El Chapo and Bedford, New Hampshire. You're going to find that they wanted to move El Chapo to Bedford, New Hampshire, where he would have escaped. And Trump stepped in and stopped it. Now that's Google. You can do that. Sinaloa cartel is another story where Aganos was building Stellar Arms, biggest apartment complex. Guess who got busted for building it? The Sinaloa cartel. Were all the workmen. The same grinder that was given to me by James O'Keefe, he was in the construction. He's named in the article. They questioned Aganos. You know what Aganos says? Wow. Wow. The Sinaloa cartel. I had Sergeant Keenan of the state police. He arrested Aganos. You ready? His house on Silly Street had $275,000 in cash wrapped in dirty underwear in a hamper, over $1 million in cocaine in thermoses. They got the keys from his safe house. They went to the safe house and busted a dealer there. They put a roadblock across Route 93 and got another trafficker at a stop. Now, you know those keys? They all went to St. Mary's Bank. 100 keys. They opened up 100 safety deposit boxes. You know what was in those safety deposit box? Gold bars.
Wow.
His mother came, and know what they did? They got a subpoena for her purse. She had gold bars.
Who had them?
The mother, Aganos' mother. This is Aganos.
Oh, okay.
You ready? Another cop or a state trooper arrested him coming off an airplane. Suitcases of cocaine. You know how we get off? Hangar A instead of B. How does he own treatment centers? These are facts. These are state troopers. I posted the case number. I posted the judge. I posted the prosecutor. Hospitals? I mean, this is obscene. But this is the network. New Hampshire was a target. It was small. It is totally corrupt. And it is the child of Bill Shaheen. He is the puppet master. He connects to Biden. He connects to Clintons. He made 2 senators who were both governors before. Why is the governor so important? Who appoints the judges? bang, the governor. If you're going to control the courts, you're going to control that office.
Right.
Why do you think I ran for governor, and why do you think they tried to murder me 3 times in 13 days? They couldn't put me in that seat. They couldn't confront my evidence. And if you've seen the meetings and you've seen the confrontations between me and Shaheen or me and Sununu, the commonality is they wouldn't speak.
Well, they did what to you, Mike. They did to you what they did to Trump. They didn't want him in office because they wanted him to shut up.
He was a wild card. Now, here's the truth of me and Trump. And no one will deny this. Trump had a guy named Corey Lewandowski. He was his campaign manager. And I had meetings with him and state representatives. I wonder if it's okay to mention their names.
I wouldn't.
Okay. I'll ask if it's okay.
Yeah. Find out later, and if it is, then you can bring it forward. But I don't know.
But just tell me that there's witnesses to the meeting with Lewandowski. Now, I gave Trump the evidence. You remember Trump going out in New Hampshire, the drug-infested den? I gave him that. Remember he was saying the corrupt network in New Hampshire? My evidence. That's what he was getting that from. And what happened is that, and then you could see him on his campaign speeches in 2016. How many times did he mention New Hampshire? How many times it was drugs?
Yep.
It was my evidence. Then what happened was, when he became president, they leveraged him. But he had this evidence. Now think about this. I posted this. There's a video called Nominated by the President. You see me meet with the U.S. Attorney. Now let me explain what the U.S. Attorney is. The U.S. Attorney's Office prosecutes the cases for the FBI, as the AG's office prosecutes cases for the cops. Boston office of the U.S. Attorney represents all of New England but Connecticut. New Hampshire represented by Boston FBI, not the New Hampshire, Boston. So
okay,
Boston.
so let me ask you this. Hold on, Mike. Because before I came down to Florida, one of my a good friend, patriot friend, but she's a J6er. She's a defendant. Before I left to come down south, she had an appointment. They last minute changed her court case out of D.C. up to New Hampshire FBI, which now you're saying the Bedford FBI.
It's a branch office.
Okay, because I went with her, but I didn't go to the office. I was sitting at the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot in Bedford. A cop pulls up and questions me and Kirsten, thinking we were fighting. I'm like, no, I'm here for support with her. She went, but they're trying to bully her to plea out for J6. Even though she went inside the building, she didn't break any laws.
Completely corrupt. The Bedford FBI, you've seen me go to them over and over again. Mark Hassenbecker. These guys are corrupt. Hassenbecker. And they take their orders and they work for the Boston FBI. Now this is what's important. Are you ready? So the top guy in all of New England, the top cop, was U.S. Attorney Lullen, who was nominated by Trump the weeks before. Trump becomes president, he nominates a new U.S. attorney, and that U.S. attorney has a meeting with me and my evidence. Now, you don't get to meet the U.S. attorney. You don't get to meet the top guy. You've seen those doors of the FBI blocked. I get to meet with the very top guy. It was because of Trump. He set the meeting. What did they take from me? Now, we don't have to question this because that video nominated by the president, you can also see that I posted the description of evidence that came from U.S. Attorney Lullen. He described the evidence: money laundering, attempted murder, drug cartel, political corruption, Titka, the Treasury, which is why Titka and the Treasury become so important, which is why I'm in Washington. Titka, the Treasury Inspector General, and the Pandora Papers in the Ways and Means Committee. These are important. But he documents everything that I have. I have that. I posted that. You've seen it. Now, you know where he says he gives it to? The Attorney General of the United States in writing. So think about this with my evidence. Trump.
Is that Marla? What's his name? Garland down in D.C. Is that who you're talking about?
Before him, it was Barr and Sessions. So Barr and Sessions have my evidence. The AG's office have my evidence. But Lullen personally gave it to Barr and Sessions. So what I'm telling you is the AG, Lullen is my witness, the U.S. attorney.
Okay.
They gave it to Sessions and Barr. They are my witnesses. He transferred the evidence in writing. He did it on purpose because he knew what this represented. This is why they wanted me dead. So Trump knew what it was, and he gave it to the AGs. Now, again, 100% proof and 100% documented. Right. I did my videos up until the election.
So
they turned
before you go further, Mike, I want to clarify. When you say Barr, you talking Bill Barr, William Barr? Are you talking the Barr that I'm thinking you're talking about?
The Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, William Barr.
William Barr. And
yes.
There's some, so I'm kind of connecting pieces now. So he pretty much, did he sell, is he still your witness, or did he sell you out and throw you under the bus?
How about this? They will be witnesses. They have to, because Lullen identified the evidence, and in his writings that I posted that 1 million people have seen, gave the evidence to Barr and Sessions. So there is no dispute. So what you should know is Trump's a witness, Lewandowski's a witness, U.S. Attorney Lullen's a witness, Barr and Sessions as the Attorney General. But there's more. Now this and what should everybody should be in their minds now is how did Mike Gill and this evidence about their own requests reach the hands of the top people in this country, the top law enforcement people of United States, each and every one. Now, ready? Now, before my last video was before the election, I told what was going to happen. I was down at the DOJ in Washington, and Trump lost the election. Now, I posted these communications, and they're on text messages, and you'll see calls. The ex-national security advisor seeks me out, General Flynn, along with Sidney Powell.
Yeah, two great people.
Well, Flynn wanted my settlement. You know, the one for $50 million? In writing, you see him, he said, I want a copy of that settlement and an affidavit. How did he know I had the settlement if not from Trump?
Of course.
Who was Trump dealing with right after the election but General Flynn and Sidney Powell?
And who did Trump pardon? That fraudulent arrest they made and setup they did on Flynn to take him out of the picture of what you're bringing to us right now.
Well, this was even after the election.
Oh, this is crazy.
So how about this? I was on the phone with Flynn January 6th. This was when this was coming down. I was dealing with military intelligence and this. And what I'm saying is there's no guessing. I have the text messages back and forth. You see General Flynn says, I want that settlement. He knew I had the settlement from Trump. He knew the settlement meant the money laundering network of the deep state. What we find out later, the Pandora Papers. Now, he also knows there's corrupt politicians behind that and the money. Why do you think Pence kept coming to New Hampshire? Pence wanted to run for office then. He was tapping into the dark money in Sununu.
Of course he was. Of course. And yes, he's a backstabber anyways and a sellout. He sold out the country and Trump. So anyways,
And now he's seeking dark money to get elected. But now,
Right.
so now you've got to understand that Flynn wanted the same settlement that I gave Lewandowski, that Lullen took, that Lullen sent to Barr and Sessions. So the National Security Advisor, wants exactly that document. You see that Sidney Powell asked me for an affidavit, and I give her that affidavit. Trump was going to use that evidence to stay in office. And you see the communications, even on Christmas Day on the 20th. So what happened was when January 6th, Trump and his people, his words on the text, scattered. So that's what threw that off. But what it did was it left me out there with the FBI threatening me, threatening my children.
Yeah.
The cartel looking to murder me. They all know what this evidence represents. They all know how close it came to being used. You can see the documentation for yourself. You can see the communications.
And Mike, just to jump in with what you're saying, they try to take you out, and with the election, and Trump didn't win, and this and that. And from what I understand through my research and some due diligence too, and I don't have all the answers. None of us will ever have all the answers, but I thought as far as I'm aware, during that time, the 2020, that fraudulent whatever was going on, from what I'm aware, Trump and his family were taking some threats and they were coming after him too, strong like they were with you. So I think right down the line, I think just some things got shut up a little bit. But I have the faith behind the scenes that this documentation is there and being in safe, I hope. But it's going to take we the people to get up and expose every bit of piece that there is at local level.
This is a good time to kind of get into that. So I've kind of given you an idea how I got here. And the evidence that you can go and look for yourself. You can put all this together from the videos from now I'm on Twitter, Mike Gill. I'm on Truth, State of Corruption. Listen, I had State of Corruption on Twitter. They shut it down. They shut me down 5 different times. Nobody wants you to see this. Listen, I don't have many friends on this because it's an island. Because one side's the corrupt and another side's using and leveraging with the evidence. Right. The currency in Washington is blackmail and extortion, and let's make a deal. I don't see making a deal with this evil. I don't see you making a deal with people who are trafficking children. So that's where I am there. But if you go there, you see the evidence for yourself, all of it. And you see the videos, and you see when you get there. But again, so here's the thing. What do we do? What do we do as a people? I asked us to turn around and look and go, what is our advantages? And again, what is theirs? The people have to understand who your enemy is. That's the frustration I had with the state of New Hampshire for all those years, is you couldn't see this evil. And this is what I find. I find that good people, decent people, have a hard time believing that this kind of evil and this kind of people exist. But trust me, they do exist. Their advantage is that they can see you, and they see you as sheep. The difficulty you have is seeing that how can someone own a treatment center and sell them drugs and then take their... Listen, the last thing they take is hope. The name of their treatment center was Hope. I mean, it's insane. But they do exist. I mean, they will take your children's lives for profit. So, first rule is you've got to start seeing them clearly. This thing with the money laundering is a door. The commonality they all have between selling and being criminals and taking payoffs, politicians, cartels, traffickers, and this is even corrupt industries, is that they have to launder their money. So the key is find their laundry, follow their money. I did that. That is what's on a $50 million settlement. You're going to have to ask yourself, and listen, stay logical. Why is New Hampshire ground zero for opioids? Why is New Hampshire ground zero for money laundering? Because it is corrupt. Logical is. And this money laundering network right now is under investigation. That's the Pandora Papers. How did I come up with the Pandora Papers 10 years before they did? Because it was there. It's what I found. It's why I'm a witness in Congress in the Ways and Means Committee. But I don't trust politicians investigating politicians. I don't trust them. How do you know they're not in the Pandora Papers? Sununu is. The Shaheens is. Don't trust them.
So, Mike, how do we find the Pandora Papers? Do you have the link, or is there a way we can find that so we can
Google.
get that?
Google. How about this?
Pandora
New Hampshire Public Radio ran an article. They gave you auto fare. They gave you Granite State Recovery. They interviewed, guess what? Perlow and Commissioner Little. They know it's there. So Google and find out those people. There's evidence that you don't know. How about this? The first 5 businesses that the New Hampshire Banking Department audited were empty buildings, not a pencil, not a desk. It was bullshit. So in other words, they're keeping that from the people. It's why I'm pushing the Pandora Papers and them to release the names. They're not releasing all the names. I know this because the cartel's moving assets and they're moving them into casinos.
Let me ask you this, Mike. On a civilian journalist level, just doing our due diligence and research, would you suggest for people in other states to start at New Hampshire and then reverse the track?
No, I have an idea. I have a plan.
Okay.
So by putting the people on Congress, there's one. My other one is with the Treasury Inspector General office, we have the recording of the Inspector General saying he's got a plant in my office. It's on the internet. And then we have the communications that were intercepted. And the Titka gave me, my agent was Tom Morley, an accountant named Cordis Morley. His brother was intercepting all my mail. That mail is with Lullen, who gave it to the AG Bar. So I'm going to force an investigation with Titka, and I'm going to push the Pandora Papers. Now, this is where we can all help. We have to pool not just our numbers, our eyes, but our resources, meaning there's things that I can't do that I need help with, like sharing and putting these videos together out there. We have to take the people of New Hampshire and ask and have them document requests with this Ways and Means Committee saying, we want to know the names of $932 billion. All
right. Well, Mike, I have a question for you real quick, because I think other people in other groups will follow right along with this too.
Yeah.
If I can talk to Allison, which is Allison Kimberly out of Ohio, it's my co-founder for Nationwide Freedom Family.
Right.
If we can set you up a Mike Gill room so you can put all your links and videos in that room on Nationwide, would you be okay with that?
Yes. Yes. Okay. And what I'm going to be doing is dangerous. I need people to follow me to Titka. I'm going to take the phone call, record it, and put it out there. So you know who I'm talking to and when I'm talking to it. You're going to see the evidence with that. So the people of New Hampshire and the people in the country turns around and say, you ready? This is important. We want to know the names of $932 billion. We want to know if our politician, our governor, our senator has dirty money in the state of New Hampshire. Because they do. You just might find Clinton and Biden. We might find everybody.
You know you're going to find Obama. Come on.
It's possible. Listen, that's why we need to know who the money belongs to. We need an investigation. Turn the page. Don't tell us it's 932. Don't give us.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we really start working on building an investigation crew, like civilian level, right? That will help you with some research, due diligence, help you put some packages together on top of sharing out. That's
doing videos about that. Listen, the more eyes we have, why do you think they don't like cameras? Because bad things happen in the dark. So if we can turn around and have a movement of saying we want 932 billion and who owns it, and with Titka, you can see the Inspector General Camus say that they have moles in my office. You can see that they ran an operation protecting the IRS. Now think about this. For all the people who are going to be audited, who could lose their home or have their pay attached, no, there's no better defense than the case that I have against the IRS. If you can show that they're criminals, they're guilty of targeting. What did Senator Shaheen was accused of, incited for? Targeting with the IRS. Exactly what they did. So if we can,
still in office, and
she's still the state is corrupt. How did they're all in office? How did Hassan get elected? How did Sununu get elected?
Pappas win too on the midterms.
Yes, Pappas is the cartel.
Well, of course they had to protect that damn hub, right?
Dirty money gets them elected. Dirty money gets them elected. That's it. You can't have an honest politician in a state that has the laundering network of the country. You can't.
Right. So basically, all of the 49 states outside of New Hampshire, they're in some way, some form, they're laundering and trickling money back up to New Hampshire. So for instance,
South Dakota has 300 billion. South Dakota is number 2.
We have to track in Florida where these dollars are leaving Florida.
Right.
Okay.
932 billion. Right. That's why New Hampshire is key. Think about this. You ready? If you had a safe and you were putting all your money in, would it be a place where people didn't expect? Would it be a small place that is well protected and well guarded? That's the state of New Hampshire. Would you turn around and run a distribution center for drugs protected by the same people? It's all logical. Just think like a businessman.
Right.
I bring in the DEA. The police chief. I'm ground zero. Of course it comes from the hospitals and treatment. Who could hold a tractor trailer full of fentanyl? Then what are they? They're used as fronts and protection. You walk in the hospital and they're loaded with fentanyl. What do you got? Nothing. Right. You go to a treatment center, nothing. They use hospice care. You know what they treat you in hospice care with? Fentanyl.
Yeah. Hold on, Mike, just real quick. Dave, how are you looking for time, and how are we looking for chat room for question Q&A? Anything in there?
I haven't seen any questions yet.
How are you doing for time? Because I don't want to disturb your house.
No, there's been a whole lot of interesting stuff. So, there definitely will be more broadcasts. But, Mike, why don't we take about 15 minutes, wrap up for tonight?
Okay.
We're available. You're always welcome to join the 7:30 a.m. Eastern Boogie with the Bull broadcasts. And
okay.
Yep, and you don't need me because there's there's going to be different watches on there, Mike, too. So
there's different people watching different broadcasts, but we're getting
Dave, and don't be afraid to bring some of these other leaders like Randy.
I gotta tell you, the one question that came up from Lori Simonson, and it's probably because she joined the broadcast late. She asked, "Where did the money come from? And how was it laundered?" And Lori, the answer is that if you've watched up to an hour and 15 minutes of this broadcast, Mike answers all of those questions. And
for the most part, yeah.
Mike,
right. She's in here. That's actually, tell her, Mike, do me a favor. Give Lori a shout out. That's Lori here. That's my friend Lori here. Give her a shout out. She's been following you for 5 years plus. and she lost track of where you went and what happened.
And you know what we're going to do? I hate to cut you off, but I always do. You know what we're going to do? If Lori's okay with her face being, voice being on my camera, my voice.
No, Lori, no. Lori has a family. No.
I don't want to get anybody in.
Yeah, and that's out of love for Lori because she's got family and they have my family.
Okay, Hey. Boogie with the Bull is a voice for everybody. Don't want
Lori,
your voice your voice isn't on it. I apologize, Lori, but I get excited when we hit big broadcasts like we did tonight.
Yeah, she's working on other stuff, so she's a true patriot. But Mike, give her a shout out for me, would you? So
give her a big shout out, Lori.
Lori, I'm looking forward to meeting you, and thank you for all those years of following me.
I hope when Derek is here,
people watching those videos and keeping their eyes on me, it's quite literally what kept me alive.
Good, and I'm hoping you will be here.
It's what made them nervous. It would make people watching. It's why I'm asking people to watch now. Yep. And Lori, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And talk to you about any videos that you've seen.
Yeah, and Mike, I can talk to Lori on a personal side, and I can connect her with you, so you two can have like a personal, down to earth, just talk, and it's not on here. So I'll do that.
No, we wouldn't put that up.
She'd love to pick your brain. So we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. So after this, I'll
that sounds good. You can give her my telephone number.
Okay. All right. So let's do this, Mike. In about 14 minutes, and you probably can't do it in 14 minutes. Tell anybody roughly what we covered tonight in 14 minutes. And
okay. What I want people to understand is that we need a plan, a direction. It's not, and I've been doing this for so many years, and I know your outrage, I know your frustration, and I know that you want to get something done. But we've got to be calculated. Don't expect any help. Politicians, press. We are in a point now where we have to save ourselves. We have to work together to save ourselves. Now, what I bring is a plan. Evidence that took years to get. Evidence that is placed with Trump, with the Department of Justice, with the Attorney General of the United States, with TITCA. So in other words, it is in dangerous places. They can't deny the evidence. So we've got to force their hands. So we got to be smart. Where are they weak? Where they are weak. And what I believe is the real fear of Biden's laptop. It's not just working with China. It's the fact that they didn't steal millions, they stole billions. So that money had to go someplace. So again, remember these two words. Our freedom depends on you understanding money laundering. Those two words are the key. Follow their money. Well, I found their money. I know how they clean their money. I know where the money ties to. It's why they offered me $50 million. That video, the list, watch it on State of Corruption YouTube. The names on those releases is that network. Those names today in the Pandora Papers are exactly the same. Why does Bill Shaheen need a release? Why does the IRS, who would take your home, want a release from me? Because you don't steal billions without the IRS knowing. It's that simple. Why would the Treasury Inspector General commit fraud, extortion, run a cover-up operation? Who would give him instructions? He's the head guy of the Treasury in charge of investigating the IRS. This comes from, I don't know, maybe a senator, maybe a president, maybe the people behind 932 million. So we have their money. We know how much money there is. We know it's in the state of New Hampshire. And their drug cartels and their traffickers, they're everything that's evil in this country. Dirty politicians, corrupt judges, FBI agents. The commonality is they can't have you see their money. They have to be able to use it. They have to clean it and make it legitimate. You find that, and again, I have that. So we have a plan. We have a target. It's good to organize. It's good to group, but you have to have a purpose and a direction. I can tell you because I've been there since 2007, and you know that's true because I've documented it and I've posted it. I mean,
so we need to get your story. We need to get your facts, all your documents, all your links. We need to get them out everywhere we can. And it's
share it, learn it.
Seconds to share it out, or even if we're sharing out to multiple groups, it takes us 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
But it can save our lives.
Right.
Right. You're sharing evidence. When you show that you show the evidence description by the U.S. attorney, and it has money laundering, attempted murder, 50 million settlement, TICA, the record. You're sharing documented evidence, not hypotheses, evidence, facts that they can't get around.
Wow.
When I call out a drug cartel and they attach me for $274 million, why does somebody with my wealth risk everything? Why would someone put the faces of drug cartel heads on signs knowing that they were going to kill you? And they certainly tried. It's a miracle I'm still here.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a gun to my temple when Greg Theodore walked through the door, or I'd be dead. I am talking seconds. And this guy's caught on security camera. So we're not doubting it. It is in that evidence. The Department of Justice and Llewellyn admits to having the videos. Evidence. Now think about this. So now this money laundering is in Congress. We could wait generations for this opportunity. Foreign journalists track the money here, not journalists from this country. We have a window. And believe me, I've spent years looking for windows. They have the evidence. We know there's 932 million because they told us. We want who it is. The cartel's moving pieces because in preparation. That's what sold Auto Fair. That's what sold Grant. These places that I called out on that lawsuit are the ones that are being sold. I told you Perlow, the banking commission, was covering up. He was the head of Prospective Trust with hundreds of billions, and they were named in Pandora Papers. That is information and evidence the people of this country have to have. The mandate we have. Those politicians work for us. That is evidence we've got to know. We want to know who's trafficking children, who's selling our children drugs, what politicians are selling us out. It's in those numbers. What did someone say? Numbers don't lie? Good. Start there. Right. And my evidence opens that door. And it opens the door to the Treasury and the investigation of the IRS. Understand this. If we're the many and they're the few, their means is means of control. Their board, now look at the board. They've got to control us with few. How do they do that? Fear, intimidation. But they do it financially with the IRS. They are going to target you, something that they've done, something they were guilty of, something they wanted to pay me $50 million not to tell you. They are money launderers. We could have them dismantled. We could have the FBI. You want to change this country? You have to expose them to the point of outrage across this country. The only thing that'll save us is the truth. That truth of that depth of evil We'll go past politicians. We'll go past politics. We'll go past race, religion, and we'll find out and we'll come to terms with all these years they've been dividing us. They've been having us fight against one another. The media has made them look like they're good guys and saviors. There is no good guys and saviors. We are the good guys. We save ourselves. We work together. So help me with this plan. I mean, I've put a lifetime, and listen, I didn't fall off a turnip truck. I owned the largest brokerage firm from nothing. I went to school to be a priest. I turned around and had the largest racing stable in the world, the king of sports. I beat the crown prince of Saudi Arabia for the world championship. I brought something to the table that I'm willing to, I didn't pick to be this person.
Amen.
I was picked.
God picked you, Mike. God picked you, man, my brother.
Which is why I couldn't deny the job.
Amen.
I knew that this would kill me. I knew that they'd go after my children, and they have. But it became bigger than me. It became where did it come from? The state of New Hampshire, banking. Who was the mortgage banking? Hit me. The thing with horse racing, how did they run their laundering system? Penn National Gaming offered me $50 million. You could watch it in a deposition called Married to the Mob. You'll see Liberty Mutual, Penn National, 25 apiece. Why? They were moving a casino into New Hampshire as part of the laundering network. So I had that too. So again, I was picked. I say sometimes I was drafted, but I realized I wish it was somebody else. I wish I could have handed the ball off.
No, God knew you were always, Mike, God knew you were the piece for this. And yeah, we got to be the pieces that unite with you and work with you. And like you said, share this stuff out. We're going to get you all your links, all your videos. We're going to get them in one place. And then we're going to get everybody else to get them in one place on their avenue, on their platform. So then we can everybody can go right to that. Because once they see those facts, they're going to hit the share button.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to do is pull those pieces out. Well, listen, visit my Twitter page. Okay. Follow me. Go to the truth. I post evidence every day and I explain it. And you know what? If you can, copy those videos because I don't trust them. Right. Something bad could happen.
No, they just took Mike. They just deleted my Facebook. 3 years of inside those buildings filming all the corruption and treason and telling them all they're going to face their military tribunal at every level, school boards, state capitol, up at the state police, at the executive breakfast, the executive meetings, the voter integrity. Because you know what? I'm just a regular guy. I'm a dad and I'm a granddad, but I knew the urgency. If I didn't get up and go when God called, who else would? And it wasn't the time to wait for the next guy to go or the next gal to go. So I went. And you know something? You were put in a position where you had to get to bigger things and all that. And you weren't so much in the buildings anymore filming. But thank God that God sent me to be your replacement and to carry that baton when you handed that off. You never handed it physically to me, Mike. But I know God did. I know our almighty source, our almighty creator, whether you call it God or Buddhism, whatever you call it, whatever your belief is, wherever your religion, which we got to get off the religion, we got to get off the politics. We just have to be solid patriots all the way through, Democratic patriots, Republican patriots, independent patriots, just people patriots for our generations and nations. And bottom line, that's what we got to do. So
This is what I know for certain. There is going to come a day where our children are going to ask us why we didn't stand up.
Amen.
How could we let this happen?
Amen.
How could you put us in this world? And I'm going to turn around and say, I stood up.
Yep.
I gave the fight. So whatever happens, they're going to know I didn't quit.
No quit and win, Mr. Gill. No quit and win. There's no listen. And losing is not an option here, Patriots. So it's either time to put your differences and egos aside, your pride aside, and stand by your brother and sister's side. Bottom line, period. That's what we need to do. And I know I'm being passionate. It's coming out of my whole internal being right now because Mike Gill right here and even Dave Glovin, we all put ourselves out there because we know the urgency on how the message and why the message needs to get out there. And if we don't stand up and come on shows like this, or people like Mike Gill doesn't go and do things that he does, or Dave does his part and Derek does his part, at the end of the day, it's not about what either one of us or each of us do. It's about all of us doing something. We don't expect anybody to do more than what they can handle. We don't expect anybody to do more than what God put in your hands to do. And the ones that have been handed a bigger responsibility, we got to fill that responsibility. We need to start being the example for our kids and children, not just setting example. We need to reach the goal line with this goal we're setting. And I'm sorry, the only goal we can set right now and going forward right now is we're in it to win it. And anybody that's not in it to win it, that means you're not all in it. So, all right, when you're ready to be just a little bit in it, please join us somehow, some way. We'll find something for you to do. Some have more experience. Some have more courage. Some have more boldness.
Well, this was what I was going to say, is we have numbers, but we also have talents. I have a certain talent, but you know what? I'm so bad, like helping me put videos together, editing videos. Those are things I could use help with. You know, some people with sharing in media. In other words, what we do is not just use our numbers. We pool our resources.
That's right.
That's the key.
That's
in other words,
that is what we want. That is what we want. We want people.
When I started State of Corruption, I hired those people to be able to do that. And it was working. And we had tremendous movement. But they also see you as a target. And see, here's the singularly, they pick you off.
Yeah.
They realize their talent is they recognize you before you recognize your potential.
Right. Now,
okay.
And reach your potential. They'll get you before you reach it. So here's the thing, Mike. We need to, and listen, any viewers on here, anybody that is watching or will watch, number one chore, number one duty, share. Number two duty, if you have connection to any podcaster, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what side they're on, it doesn't matter. Let's get Mike Gill on these shows. Let's get the message out viral. Okay, we're going to start setting up, at least on Nationwide Freedom Family, a room or something where we can put all your links and videos on, Mike, so they can find you there as well. I believe,
and I will go out and tell you, like where it's the next week, I'm pounding on the Treasury Inspector General.
Okay.
I'm going to record those phone calls, so you're going to know that I'm making those calls. I'm good. What case number I get, who I speak to. Listen, the last time I spoke to them, and I posted that phone message, they wanted to know how much Trump had. They wanted to know how much Trump had of my evidence. That's incriminating. They weren't saying, let's fix the problem. They wanted to know if Trump had it so he could use it, knowing that they were coming after him with the IRS.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why they raided Mar-a-Lago, looking for certain things.
My understanding is part of what they were looking for was my evidence.
I knew it.
They knew I was talking with Trump. They knew the evidence with Flynn.
Eric gets so excited when a bombshell is dropped. Excuse my words. When a bombshell is dropped, on a boots on the ground Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Derek, you just see he if he could, he'd jump through his camera right now to yours and kiss you on the lips.
Well, think about this, right? Those communications with Flynn was asking for my evidence to stay in office. This was right after the election. I was on the phone with Flynn up until January 7th. This January 6th committee, they didn't have my name. Whoa. They had Flynn's phone. Of course they had my name.
Okay, hold on, guys.
Wait a minute, another connection. That's what J6 was about. Okay. That's why they pulled J6.
Okay, I am at a time where we gotta wrap it up. We will plan another one. You're always welcome. Like I said, Mike, 7:30 Monday through Friday Eastern time in the morning. I'll send you the link. You're more than welcome to come on.
And both of you guys have my number. I'll leave you with one thought. All right.
Yep. Also, William.
Dave, hold on one sec. Go ahead, Mike. Finish up.
If you were Trump and you knew what my evidence was, along with must be other evidence, what you would have left with is the stuff that you could go on offense, the things that you could incriminate your enemies.
Yep.
And what would they want? That evidence. And how would they come to get it without notice? That is it. And that's what Trump would have taken. And we know Trump wanted it because he sent Flynn for it.
Yeah.
Days before.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is also why the FBI showed up at my hotel room on Christmas. You've seen those texts. You've seen those communications. They stood by my card and threatened me from giving that evidence to Trump, and I told them to go F themselves. And you see that in writing.
Good. Awesome.
But they knew I had it. They knew I was talking to them.
Dave's got to close this out because we don't want to lose the video. So Dave will be in
contact. Mike, we'll have you on more. There are some other tomorrow morning. Usually, William Rayfield, the host of the Patriots Lab, joins us, and I'm sure he's going to want to get you on a Patriots Lab. Right away. Let's see. There are so many people that we may have to just set you up.
You guys set them up. I'll knock them down.
We'll set them up. We got you, Mike. We're going to get this out there. We're going to get you on different shows.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, man. Dave, thank you so much. Right, I'm going to get off here and let you close up the show. Mike, Mike, we love you if you're still listening. Dave, we love you, brother. And we got a lot of work to do.
So we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk. We got to work on a private platform. We got to. This stuff can't be taken up.
Also, as a platform that's coming in, Brian Gaudier with Justice for Kids Convoy. You know Brian.
I know Brian.
He contacted me. There are plans in the works to do something there, and he reached out to Boogie with the Bull, Boots on the Ground, doing something with them.
All right, good.
On them.
Yeah, I'll probably be in touch with Brian as well. And we also have Moose over in New York.
Yep.
He's starting up his own private network. We also have Bobby Wayne up in New Hampshire. He's one of our nationwide freedom reps. So he's working on a website and things like that too. So this video, Dave, when you send it over to me, I'm going to send it to Moose. No matter if Facebook takes him down.
You can go to YouTube. I would tell everybody, if you really want to do me a favor and share this broadcast on Facebook, you can share it around Facebook. Go over to the YouTube channel, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, and then take the link, take that broadcast, share it everywhere you want to do. On Facebook, off Facebook, on Twitter.
Blast it out everywhere,
Blast it out everywhere.
I'm gonna drop off so you can close out your show with all the viewers. Thank you everybody for watching. Share this out. We love you guys. We're in this together, and we're in it to win it. And there's no quit and win. So let's go get our prize, and let's get to the finish line and cross that finish line together, Patriots. And let's go celebrate together. And let's help Mr. Mike Gill get his message and all the work he's been working on. Let's blast it out and let's put a shaking across our nation. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Dave, thank you so much for everything you're doing and having us on here. Thank you. God bless.
Take care. Derek Arnold, Boots on the Ground, Nationwide Freedom Family Group on Facebook. If you can see it, Nationwide Freedom Family Group on Facebook, join it. Some of us were in it and we're not blocked from the group or by the group, but we can't access it all of a sudden. But if you can get into Nationwide Freedom Family Group here on Facebook, please do. You can always follow our groups. We are Americans for Free Speech, American Regulators, Boogie with the Bull, Citizen Journalists for the American People. If you write stuff, if you do broadcasts like this, put it in there. Let's see. Forgetting the names of my groups. Americans for Free Speech, American Regulators, Boogie with the Bull, Citizen Journalists for the American People, Conservative Freedom Defenders, God Bless Trump and the USA. The Lee Greenwood song is the name of the group. 3 others. The Few, the Proud, the Deplorable, the Ministry of the Truth group, and I think that's it. If I left someone out, I'll make sure I remember you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. is the Friday Boogie with the Bull morning caffeine, the Friday free for all. You never know what's going to happen. If you're up and early, up and awake, 7:30 Eastern time, please come in and watch us. We will be on Facebook on the Dave Woven we will be on Facebook on the Dave Woven profile. We will be on the Boogie with the Bull page. We'll be on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. We will be linked live from YouTube to Street Lock, and very quickly, the Boogie with the Bull Street Lock Live channel will help, sort of like YouTube on steroids is about the best way to put it. And no, it's not there, so I can't add it in. I lost a file that I was going to share with you. But anyway, if you ever thought about doing a broadcast like Boogie with the Bull or Boots on the Ground, in that way, talk to me, message me on Facebook Messenger, and we'll talk it all up. Boogie has upgraded, as people have seen, thanks to Randy Griesenbeck and his wife, Jessica Harrison. They kicked us up one notch on StreamYard. We now have 8 cameras available on a broadcast, 8 destinations we can be on one Boogie with the Bull broadcast, and a Boogie with the Bull broadcast can, in fact, be 8 hours long. We will be on the ground with Derek Arnold at a lot of events around the country. If we're not, we will be linked there live like we are right now. And if you have an event going on in your state in the coming year, 2023, please get a hold of me. We would love to promote it on Boogie with the Bull and help make sure it is a success. We'd like to be there remote broadcasting your event on Boogie with the Bull and Boots on the Ground and every place else we can get it to. So I am excited. Lagatha, if you can, and I don't know if I said it right, but it's either Lagatha or Lagatha. I hate mispronouncing people's names, but if you would message me on Facebook Messenger after the broadcast, I would love to talk to you and pull some information from you. And let's see. Good night, Lori. Dan Manel. I'd like to chat with you as well. Dan Daigle. I'd like to talk with you. I'd like to talk to anybody who watched. If you think you have an idea for a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, please let me know. I'd love to have people on as a guest, even if you're just a normal, everyday nobody like me. But if you think you have something you need to say to America, please let me know. So from the Boogie with the Bull Fleming Island Studios, located on Facebook and YouTube, and tonight we were live linked to Street Lock, home of the up-and-coming Boogie with the Bull Street Lock Live channel. And we'll drop it on Twitter later tonight. We're linked to Twitter, but I don't know where exactly it shows up on Twitter. So what we may just do is take it from the YouTube channel and link it to Twitter while we're live. But look for us there. And if we're not on a place that we should be, please let us know. Lori, I think early on said get on Rumble. We're in the process of doing that. I'm on Rumble, but I have to figure out a few things before we can do it. I know that locals, communities run on Rumble. There is a Boogie with the Bull locals community waiting to be set up. Just 8 million things sitting on the desk. And we're just a small town social media guy trying to get everywhere we can. And it's a work that will constantly change and update. I thank everybody for watching. It is, let me see, on the East Coast, it is 7:47. It's almost 8 o'clock. It's time for you to relax, unwind, put your kids to bed, and enjoy a few hours, and then get up and do it again. 7:30 tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Boogie with the Bull, Morning Caffeine, the Friday Free-for-All edition. Come on into the live chat and tell us what's new and exciting in your life. Bring your favorite morning caffeinated beverage in your favorite morning caffeinated vessel. And we'll get your weekend started. I'm Dave Blue, and you're not. As I say usually, thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time. And I hope that we were not tough on you. And I hope that people watched tonight's State of Corruption broadcast with Mike Gill. And I hope you did your usual homework assignment. As Mike brought things up, you wrote it down. And as Mike moved on to the next topic, you wrote it down. And as you went through, you maybe crossed out things that you don't need to hear more about, or circled the ones that are important to you. And you messaged that to me on Facebook Messenger. Matter of fact, if you can, take a picture of it and send it to me on Facebook Messenger. And if I pull your list and it looks right, maybe you'll get a chance to come on and we'll talk about your interests that day. Always an open camera. We have 8 cameras now, so there's always an opportunity if you want to come on. During the broadcast, we try to that's the link for tonight. So but during the broadcast, I will make sure we flash that on the screen, post it in the live chat, so that if you're watching during a broadcast and there's a camera open and you think you should be a part of the broadcast, let me know. Sometimes with guests like Mike tonight, we kind of didn't bring anybody else on besides Derek and I, but there's always a seat at the table on a Boogie with the Bull Boots on the Ground broadcast. So again, I'm Dave Globin. Thank you for the privilege of abusing your time, and we will see you tomorrow, bright and early, 7:30 Eastern a.m., Friday morning, Boogie with the Bull, Morning Caffeine, Friday Free-for-All. Let's get this weekend started. So double B's for victory. We came to an end about an hour and 48 minutes, which means we're just about there. Just about there. We did 90 minutes tonight, which is actually okay. So double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. One more time, double B for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast has come to an end. And before it ends, hey, if you wanted to do me a favor, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and then go through and take any of the Boogie with the Bull broadcasts that you want that are on there. And some are more highly entertaining than others. Take them and share them anywhere around social media. And if you're not sharing it on, if you are sharing it someplace other than my profile, the Boogie with the Bull page, if you're taking our broadcast and you're sharing it anywhere other than Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Streetlock, then let me know, because we want to help. We want to make sure that if you're posting our broadcast there, we want to just send it there, make sure everybody is happy, up to the 8 destinations in a broadcast that we can have. So now I'm done with you allowing me to abuse the privilege of your time. And double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end.